Welcome, crypto fam, to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. In today's show, Bitcoin's correcting. I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis as well as breaking news. Michael Saylor met with GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen just last night. What do you think they were discussing? We'll also be talking about Coinbase's 420 million assets under management exceeds the 21st largest U.S. bank, as well as Tornado Cash developer leaves prison custody as the war on crypto is over. We'll also be discussing inside the Max and Stacy Bitcoin Golf Invitational. As you know, I attended, so I have the insider insights for you. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin Prime to skyrocket to $200,000 per coin. I'll be sharing the timeline according to the Marathon Digital CEO and why. We'll also be discussing America is embracing Bitcoin. There are now 22 states in the U.S. that are proposing the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Also breaking news, Florida Senator Gruters proposes Bitcoin investment bill for the state funds as the global hash wars continue around the world. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more today on Sat Stackin' Saturday. Anyways, without further ado, if you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes, then go ahead, subscribe, hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod number 1900. That's right, 1900 episodes as of today. And today is Sat Stackin' Saturday, February 8th, 2025. I'm your host, JV, an honor to be here. Today is the big celebration, the 100K Bitcoin Fiesta I'm hosting in Puerto Rico alongside Chandy. 10 music, and I can't wait to lock arms with the CNA fam and party it all night with you guys. It's going to be amazing. So, but anyways, let's kick it off with our market watches we do each and every day. As you can see on Coin360, Bitcoin and most of the major alts are correcting and in the red, but ironic enough, BNB, Binance token, is up 6% on the day. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current Bitcoin market cap, let's see where we're at. 3.15 trillion total crypto. Bitcoin is 1.9 trillion. We have roughly 93 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance has been maintaining above 60%, currently 60.6%. Ether dominance all the way down to 10.1%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. It's basically Binance Coin leading the pack, and just a handful of others as the majority of the alts are correcting and in the red. And checking out the crypto bubbles. We always like to see the visual perspective on the day. Unfortunately, it's Rex City. It's about 90% of the market correcting in the red. And zooming out on the monthly, very similar, only the losses are more significant. Obviously, you get wrecked with the shitcoinery. Many of these alts down 30, 40, 50 plus percent. And checking out the crypto gain index index. Today we're at 44. Yesterday at 44 fear. Last week at 68. And last month at 69 in greed. And checking out the time chain calendar. We have 167,099 blocks until the next halving in 2028. And we're currently on block number 882,901. You can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,038 sats. So stack the sats, put down the gats, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net, such as this Bitcoin Country. One of my favorite caps right here. But anyways, let's dive into a little astrology for the broskies, and also pull up the live charts as we're correcting. Happy Sat Stackin' Saturday. Bitcoin hinges on 93 support. Risk 1.3 billion liquidation on the trade war concerns. That's right. Bitcoin price may experience a significant liquidation event if it falls under the key support level, which would wipe out over 1.3 billion of the leverage long positions. Bitcoin price fell below 100K Feb 4th after market sentiment was hit by the global trade war concerns following news of import tariffs announced by the United States and good old China. To avoid a correction below 90,500 in the near term, Bitcoin needs a weekly close above the 93,000 support level, according to Ryan Lee over at BitGet, quoting him here. Watch for the Bitcoin support at 90,500 and 93 Gs. Drop on below 90,500 might indicate the bearish trends. These levels could shape the market sentiment depending upon how the Bitcoin trades around them. The Bitcoin risks significant downside volatility under 93 Gs. A potential correction below would trigger nearly 1.3 billion worth of leverage long positions across the crypto exchanges. Now, the global trade wars are a double-edged sword for the Bitty price. Macroeconomic uncertainty is generally a red flag for risk assets. The current tension between China and the U.S. may be a double-edged sword for the Bitty price. Do you agree? And while the prospect of new tariffs increases investor uncertainty due to their historically negative market impact, they may only pose a short-term risk for the Bitty price, according to James Woe, the founder of venture capital firm DFG, quoting him here. This is what Bitcoin was originally intended for, to be a hedge against fiat devaluation and inflation, which might see Bitcoin ultimately benefiting from the flight away from the weakened fiat currencies to push the price higher over time. Trump's meeting with Chinese president reportedly delayed President Xi and the Trumpster. So be it. But in breaking news, I do want to also point out, Plan B tweeted, all Bitcoin gain is made, the red dot periods, 6 months before the halving until 18 months after the halving. The blue periods are all in a loss. We are more in the red period. 9 more months of the red candles to be printed on the stock to flow chart between February and October. And if you don't know, stock to flow projects the Bitty price hovering between $250,000 and $1 million between now and the next halving in 2028. And on average, that's a $500,000 Bitcoin price with a bull scenario of $1 million. Shout out to the Plan B. Now, also big news, the Giga Chad Sailor with GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen last night. GameStop, massive company. Are they thinking of putting the pretty little Bitty on the balance sheet? Well, if he's speaking of Mikey Saylor, there's can only be one thing. I mean, that's all Michael does is speak about Bitcoin, how great it is, and how it's going to change the world, how it's already changing the world as we continue to orange pill the masses. And you recently know they rebranded MicroStrategy. The new company name is Strategy B, and that's for the Bitty. And pulling up some of the live charts. We'll check this out. Obviously, we're correcting today, but it's all good. It's perfect on a sat stack and Saturday. Here's a live chart via TradingView via Coinbase. We do have a target on the 1 hour chart, 104,856. That's about an $8,000 price appreciation from the current price level. Zooming out from the 1 hora, let's go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour chart says pretty little bitty going out forever, JV. We have a $130,000 target. Very bullish there. We also have a $106,000 target, which will take us closer to price discovery. And zooming out from the 4 hour, let's take a look at the 1 day. The 1 day chart says we're still going up forever, Laura. The rising wedgie, we've had some red corrective candles past few days, but it's all good in the hood. Zooming out from the daily, let's visit the weekly chart. Still have the sexy cup and handle target. Last couple of weeks have been, bearish closes. We get a new close for tomorrow. Let's see if we can flip this 100K psychological, resistance, flip it back to a support so the preload Bitty can never re-enter 5-digit price action ever again. And zooming out from the 1 week, we take a look at the 1 month, and the 1 month chart shows February thus far forming a red candle. November was the most bullish God candle we have ever seen in a price appreciation of roughly 30 G's. But there you have it. Crypto bros and bitty baddies. But anyways, fam, let's continue with our next story of the day. Next headline reads, Coinbase is $420 billion in assets under management. Happy 420 to the broskies. Exceeds the 21st largest U.S. bank. That's right, broskies. Coinbase's assets under management make the crypto exchange worth more than the 21st largest bank of the U.S., showcasing continued growth for the industry. Coinbase, the third or largest centralized crypto exchange in the world by trading volume, is holding $420 billion worth of digital assets on behalf of the users. Pretty substantial number. It's like almost $500 billion, broskies. This would make Coinbase the 21st largest bank of the U.S., according to Armstrong, co-founder of Coinbase, who wrote here, if you think of Coinbase like a bank, we now hold about $0.42 trillion in assets for our customers because they're the custodian of BlackRock, MicroStrategy, all the major whales, which would make us the 21st largest bank of the U.S. by total assets. If you think of us more like a brokerage, we'd be the 8th largest brokerage today by the assets under management. Now, the NYCB posted a $260 million quarterly loss for the fourth quarter of 2023 after purchasing the collapsed crypto-friendly Signature Bank back in 2023. Coinbase posted a $273 million net profit the same quarter, marking the first positive income quartet since the fourth quarter of 2021. Now, more advanced crypto platforms could consolidate today's numerous financial services into a single all-in-one neo-bank for the future. With crypto, the line between these categories is a blurring. If in the updated financial system, you'll just have single primary financial account, which serves all these functions. A greater percentage of the global GDP will run on a more efficient crypto rail over time. And also quoting Let's see here. Shintan Turkahia, Senior Director of the Engineering at Coinbase. If our goal is to bring the next billion users, then let's start with just 100 million. We have to take all those friction points out. And there you have it. I mean, massive volume. Let me know if you guys are using Coinbase or what's your go-to crypto exchange of choice. Holla at your boy. But anyways, next story of the day. Let's discuss the Tornado Cash. Tornado Cash developer Alexei leaves prison custody. First, Ross is a free man. Now this man is a free man. Tornado Cash developer Alexei was released from prison custody February 7th. That was yesterday. And will remain on house arrest while he prepares his legal appeal. That's a win. February 6th, Dutch court suspended his pretrial detention, which began August of 2022, extended in the prior court ruling November 2024. As part of the pretrial release, he must be electronically monitored. It is not real freedom, but it's better than prison. Can I get an amen? His case raised alarm amongst privacy advocates who decried the legal action as setting a dangerous precedent for privacy preserving technologies and developers of immutable code. If you're not familiar with the Tornado Cash, it's ultimately a crypto mixer, and the government with their war on crypto definitely targeted him. I think gave him a life sentence for, obviously doesn't belong in prison. But anyways, the Hertogenbosch Court of Appeal found this guy guilty of money laundering in May of 2024 and sentenced the software developer to 5 years and 4 months in prison. Dutch court officials found him guilty despite developers of the Tornado Cash software having no control over the funds that pass through the protocol or the protocol itself. U.S. Department of the Treasury on foreign assets sanctioned Tornado Cash the same month as the detention began. Officials from the government regulator claimed that more than $7 billion in illicit funds have been laundered through the service since it launched. Now, here's the thing. He created the service. He's not the individual using the mixer. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like using the logic of Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, and there's criminals that do illicit activities using the Facebook marketplace, so let's just lock up Zuckerberg for creating this in the first place, which is the whole logic, which makes no sense here. OFAC also cited $455 million in funds purportedly stolen by the infamous North Korean hacking group Lazarus, and already laundered through the Tornado Cash as a reason for sanctioning the service. So in November of 2024, the U.S. Fifth Circuit of Appeal Court ruled that OFAC exceeded in congressional authority and sanctioning Tornado Cash immutable contracts. The panel of judges for the court found Tornado Cash contracts, which are lines of immutable code. Yeah, all it is coding. It's free speech. It should be protected by our amendment of the United States Constitution. They were not property and could not be owned. In January 2025, the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas overturned Tornado Cash sanctioning, signaling a seismic shift of the privacy tools of regulatory policy for the United States. Take that, Gensler. And like earlier rulings, the overturning of the OFAC sanctions against Tornado Cash represents a seminal case that will set precedents for the digital privacy cases in the U.S. The U.S. government despises privacy coins. There's been a war against them, if you guys haven't noticed. Now, anyways, let me know your thoughts with that. And have you ever used a mixer, such as a Tornado Cash? Let me know. Now, here's the latest regarding the Max and Stacy invitational event. And obviously, I was there a couple of weeks ago. Incredible experience in Bitcoin country. This was an article just published. I'm going to read this to you from the author's perspective. And then at the end, I'll chime in and give you a little more details of my personal experience locking arms with Max and Stacy at the incredible event in Bitcoin country. So yeah, first and foremost, the Max and Stacy Bitcoin Invitational brought together more than 300 attendees. That was on the 11th, 10/11, that is, Chandy. That's a blackjack. At the El Encanto Country Club in El Salvador. That's where the Huddle House studio is that Max Kaiser and Stacy just had built. And that's where JB got invited to record the podcast. The event was a celebration of sportsmanship, Bitcoin innovation, and community building set against the backdrop of beautiful landscapes and world-class facilities. And let's not forget about the Coco Max, the official drink of Bitcoin country. Now, these were the gentlemen that won these jackets. Banco Azteca's team, and I believe that is Ricardo Salinas' team over from Mexico. Obviously, he sent his crew there, and this guy's Rafa and Pedro. They proudly received the prestigious orange jackets for securing first place at the Max and Stacy Golfing Invitational. And for those that don't know, it was a golfing tournament. Like they competed against each other. I was there as more as like a spectator, just to capture footage and get around Max and spend as much time with him as possible. But also they gave away some custom watches from Coin Vigilante, and I actually just went to their website and I'm pretty blown away. I may have to order this watch. Shout out Coin Vigilante. For those that don't know, they make custom Bitcoin watches that are pretty amazing. This is the website. I was actually on it earlier for the first time, and they actually provided some of the watches that were given away as prizes. For those that don't know, Max and Stacy gifted $250,000 worth of prizes at their event, like total next level, fifth level G shit. But here's their website. They make some stunning Bitcoin watches. This one's to the moon theme. I'm going to show you this orange one I've been eyeing. I may have to pick up. And look at the back, the craftsmanship here. I mean, the 100K edition, I'm going to the moon. Pretty slick. I like these watches. This one's the Genesis Celebration Genesis edition. That's a pretty sexy one as well. People have been asking me about these watches. They're actually affordable. I assumed they would be like 10 or 20,000 for some reason. So when I just went to the website, and I have no affiliate relation with them whatsoever, I just find them sexy. Notice that orange one, it's only $500. That's pretty. I totally rock this one. Oh, sold out. I may have to hit up Coin Vigilante and ask for a favor, but I really like this one. Let me know what you guys think. I like the watches where you can see the mechanics like on the inside, you know what I mean, like right there. And for $500 to custom Bitcoin watch, bro, I'll take two, one for each wrist. But yeah, so shout out Coin Vigilante. And I know I'm getting sidetracked, but I thought that was kind of cool that Max was giving away some really, really cool prizes. And those jackets were hand stitched in Milan, Italy, like next level. Totally cool. So there was a 16th hole challenge where they offered to give away one Bitcoin if anyone got a hole in one. I don't think anyone got the hole in one because the odds of doing it is like, I think I heard 1 out of 13,000. It's not easy. As you know, I'm sure you know already if you're a golfer. Tourism Insights, they had some great, speakers there who were sponsors of the show. Shout out to them. Happy Hour Bitcoin Beach, the first day of the event. I actually didn't attend the first day. I didn't get there until late that evening, and then I attended the full second day. But I saw some of the highlight footage that Daniel Martin, Brandon captured and stuff like that. But it seemed really cool. They were hanging out here and hanging out at the beach. That's the Bitcoin Sports Network on the left, Chris and Frida that put on the event. They own the Bitcoin Sports Network, and that's the jacket on the inside. You can see how sexy that really is in detail, and that was the jacket handmade in Milan, like Italy. Just total next level shit. Everything about the event. So I guess now I'll touch upon some of the things that I really enjoyed hanging out with Max and Stacy. Shout out Jason Buck, brother. Wow, $100 super just like that. Happy B-Day, JB. Thank you for all you do. Well, Jason Buck, right back at you. Thank you for all your support. This gong strike is for you, brother. Wow. Makes me want to standing ovation for Jason. Wow. Next level, fifth level G shit. But yeah, the Max and Stacy event was amazing. I try to capture as much event footage as I could. For me, the highlight was getting to ride in the golf cart with Max, capture footage through the 18 holes in the El Encanto golf club. Top-notch property, have the Coco Max, incredible drink, incredible people. Max is completely electric, his personality. He's naturally a comedian, so it's hard not to laugh in his presence. And he is always channeling Satoshi. I don't know how many times he said he is channeling Satoshi. And so yeah, it's just amazing hanging out with such a legend. I've been looking up to Max since I got into the Bitcoin space. My favorite power duo in Bitcoin is Max and Stacy. You know what I mean? And they're going to have another event, and I'm not going to miss it. And if you guys can get tickets, if you get the opportunity, highly recommend attending events. They're life-changing. It's not just the experience, which is great, that you'll never forget, but you develop friendships and relationships that'll last a lifetime. So priceless. You can't put a price point on attending an event when you get around the people you want to be around. You feel me? So I couldn't recommend it enough. The event was phenomenal. top-notch, so inexpensive compared to what they provided. They could have charged 10, 20 times more for that event. And I've been like, damn, that was a fantastic value. It was practically free the way I looked at it. I think I paid $200 for a ticket to an event with Max and Stacy, a 2-day event, included food. Like, come on now. You can't put on an event like that without costing probably at least $500,000. I'm speculating, but it's not cheap. So everything was top notch, and I can't wait for the next one. And if you get an opportunity, take advantage of it. I think there's a waiting list. I think as soon as they launch tickets, they sell out like within 30 minutes. So follow Max and Stacy and cop your ticket to the next one if you get the opportunity to come. And I'll look forward to seeing you there. Let's discuss this $200,000 target and the timeline. Then we'll discuss the breaking news of the 22 states now proposing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And then we'll premiere Chandy's new music video. And I'll kick it with you guys for a little bit before we got to get ready for the party. And yeah, again, shout out Max and Stacy. We love you guys. Next headline, Bitcoin primed to skyrocket to up to 200,000 by the year end, according to Marathon Digital CEO. And he explains why. Here you go. The CEO of the Bitcoin mining giant, Marathon Digital, Fred Thiel, is leaning bullish on Bitcoin, believing it can more than double its value before the year expires. Why so bearish, Fred? In an interview on CNBC, Thiel said Bitcoin can go up by over 100% from the current level before the end of the year. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Quoting him here, I think there's a general consensus that the price of the Bitty will move up this year to somewhere between 150 and 200,000 by the end of this year. What do you see, or what you do see, is anytime there's major selling of the Bitty, there are buyers who enter the market and keep the price in the range of somewhere between 95 and 100,000. So I think there's still a big belief that Bitcoin will continue to go up in price. There's still a lot of demand for the asset by not just retail, but the institutional investors. And according to the Marathon Digital CEO, some of the analysts that will drive the price of the Bitty up include a friendlier regulatory environment and the embracement of the King crypto by both the private and public entities, quoting them here. On the regulatory side of the U.S., you'll see money center banks being able to custody the crypto and lend against the crypto. That will then drive corporations to begin putting the Bitty on the balance sheet, and we're not talking in large amounts, but 1 to 2% of their cash or the liquid assets as an alternative to the treasuries or just holding it in the fiat. What do we call those who store the fiat in the banks? We call them poor. But I digress. And when you do that, that drives the price of the Bitcoin up. There is a limited action of Bitcoin available, unlike gold or unlike other types of precious commodities that can be extracted out of the ground. There are 20 million Bitcoin in circulation today. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin available, so the scarcity will, in fact, drive the price up. Preload Bitty going up. If then the U.S. decides to go ahead and plan to execute a Bitcoin strategic reserve, in which we're witnessing, that will require another 1 million Bitcoin to be put aside and into the fund. And the other sovereigns will do the same thing, and that will continue to drive the price up. Hence, it's going up forever, Laura. And there you have it. Now for our feature story of the day. America is embracing Bitcoin big time. There's now 22 states officially adopting the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill. So let's break this one down. As you can see here in this chart posted by the Bitcoin Magazine, here are the states. We have Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Wyoming, Massachusetts, Florida, Arizona, Alabama, Utah, Kansas, South Dakota, Nebraska, Illinois, Indiana, Montana, Missouri, New Mexico, Iowa, and Kentucky. Which state will it be first? Yesterday I read some stories where they say it's going to be Utah, Mormon land. But what are your thoughts on that? And you can see the United States map here. I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. What do you think will be the last state to adopt Bitcoin? If I was to guess, I'd say like New York or something like that. They're just behind the times when it comes to the financial landscape. I mean, it's so controlled, but nonetheless, I digress. You guys let me know what you think. I mean, half the country, that's a W. And also, as Vivek shared here, the state of Texas to buy up to $500 million worth of Bitcoin every year. That's $500 million every year. No one is bullish enough. But of course, that's if the bill gets approved. But do you think the bill is not going to get approved when you have half the states in the U.S. all racing for Bitcoin adoption? I mean, who's going to get left behind? Anyone that doesn't have the Bitcoin bill. Which leads us to our next story. Florida Senator Gruters. And I wonder, is he... okay, I don't know this guy personally, but nonetheless, he proposes the Bitcoin investment bill for the state funds. That's right. Florida Republican Senator Joe Gruters has introduced a bill proposing the investment as part of the state's funds at the Bitcoin and other digital assets to counter the rising inflation. We know inflation is no joke. It follows a string of other U.S. states recently moving towards the same goal. Quoting him here, the state should have access to tools such as Bitcoin to protect against inflation. Inflation has eroded, and the purchasing power of assets held in the state funds managed by the chief financial officer. Couldn't agree more. And for those that don't know, the US dollar is mathematically guaranteed to continue to decrease your purchasing power because they're guaranteed to continue printing money. Bitcoin has the opposite effect, the polar opposite. Bitcoin is mathematically guaranteed to increase your purchasing power against the dollar because there is a finite limit of supply and they can't print more of it. Groters highlighted major asset management firms such as BlackRock, Fidelity, Franklin, already adopting the Biddy and viewing it as a hedge against inflation. Along with Bitcoin having greatly risen in value, becoming more widely accepted as the international medium of exchange, and reasons Florida should consider investigating state funds, or investing, I should say, into the asset class. And I think it's just a matter of time. We also know DeSantis, governor, very bullish on the Biddy as well, and anti-CBDC alongside the Trumpster. Groters propose allowing Florida's chief financial officer, Jimmy Patronis, to invest Bitcoin into the state general reserve fund, the budget stabilization fund, and the various other agency trust funds. Invested into everything. Why don't you? However, he said the Biddy holdings to any account should be capped at 10%. Meanwhile, Wyoming's comparable recent proposed bill limits allocations no more than 3%. So Florida's 3 times more bullish than Wyoming. That's a W. It comes only months after Patronis, sounds like the drink Patron, wrote a letter urging the Florida Board of Administration to consider adding the Biddy to the state's retirement fund investments. That's another big one there. Bitcoin is often called digital gold and could help diversify the state portfolio and provide a secure hedge against the volatility of other major asset classes. Facts. And just a day before Groters' filing, Kentucky became the 16th U.S. state to introduce legislation, as we covered in yesterday's pod, aiming to establishing a Bitcoin reserve. The bill, KYHB 376, introduced by Kentucky State Representative Theodore Joseph Roberts on February 6. And if passed, it would authorize the State Investment Commission to allocate up to 10% of excess state reserves into the digital assets, including the King, BTC. So what are your thoughts? 22 states adopting the Bitcoin, the state proposing the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill. Do you think the state adoption will occur first before the nation state adoption from the Trumpster? I think it looks that way, but you guys let me know your thoughts, and welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream as the crowd continues to go wild. There's a fiesta in 5 more hours. Hide your kids, hide your wives, hide your cats, hide your dogs. McFoofinator is back. Hodl Gang, thank you, brother. You get a gong strike for that. Appreciate the support. All the memberships to the channel. Thank you, guys, especially McFoofinator.